All right, and we are live. I should probably go let people know on Facebook real quick that I started a live stream. And put some colors on it to get their attention. Get all in red. All right. That way we'll get a few people in here. Yeah, it's first time I've really had a good chance to do one of these. This is the only time today I'm really going to be free to do one. And so yeah, I thought I'd get in, get one up. But a quick reminder: most of you who watch these watch them after the fact. So please remember to subscribe down below. I think there's like a bell or something you have to click to get the notifications for these. Uh, please join my Orc Army down below with the channel membership. Follow me on Instagram. Let's see if we can get a few more people in here. Now that I made an announcement, it'll probably come up pretty quick. I'm going to have a new policy because I had fun with that last time. Trolls like to donate money and they'll make a derogatory comment, knowing that they get the money back if I ban them through that comment. I'm going to start keeping their money. And wait until they make a non-paid post, and then I'm going to ban them. Because that's going towards my house fund. Everything I make on YouTube is going into savings to buy a house. I don't spend any of it. So the trolls can help buy me a house. But this one's not filling up too quick. We only have 5 people watching. I'll get to your question in a minute, man, but I don't want to start one up and answer questions when I only have one question. Seems like kind of a waste. So let me see if anyone's even noticed the post for the live stream. All right. Well, we're up to 8 people, but none of you know how to click the like button, so I don't think I should really even answer questions. 11 people, no, give me some likes, guys, because that's how this gets into the feed and other people see it. It's most of you watching don't ask questions. If you want to have questions and have something besides me drinking my water, click like, it'll get more people in. Okay. Let's get over to some of these questions. Since I guess there's 11 people, and you guys can't figure out how to click the like button. I don't know how that works. All right. Variable Sin asks, Coach, how important is pulling the slack out of the bar rather than going from 1 to 100% straight away when conventional deadlifting? It's absurdly important to pull the slack out of the bar. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's your back and your biceps. I mean, you got a good surgeon, don't pull the slack out. I don't care. But that is the correct way to deadlift. You're not performing what I would consider a correct deadlift if you're not pulling the slack out. And if you get hurt, you're going to be one of the people who contributes to the statistic who say it's the deadlift is dangerous, but they didn't perform a correct deadlift. You'll be in that statistic of people later. Oh, I ripped something. Okay, you shouldn't have. All right, one of my Orc warriors confused about the recent debunking of the training frequency myth is the main reason that researchers found out that protein synthesis lasts more than 48. No, Allie, they found out that's just not relevant. It isn't relevant. Okay. Let me put it to you this way, Allie. Let's say you have a bunch of studies looking at something like, I don't know, the time that something occurs, but then you check frequency and the actual results at that timing was irrelevant. I don't know how to give you an analogy for this one, other than to say it doesn't matter what we found with the previous studies. Doesn't matter what we found with the previous studies on protein synthesis. What matters is the muscle growth. What do you care more about? Muscle protein synthesis uptime or muscle growth? And the studies on frequency have found it just doesn't matter. Although I've heard some researchers imply that even the studies on muscle protein synthesis weren't that good. So, they may be lasting quite a bit longer. And that's why I said before, a lot of us who were putting out this info for years, and myself included, are going to have to eat humble pie. We were wrong. And when you're wrong, I mean, when research proves you wrong, you have to be honest enough to say, hey, guess what? I was wrong. The data's pretty good at this point. So, in other words, this gives us freedom to not program based around those limitations either, doesn't it? And I think what people get confused are like, so you're saying bro splits are good? No, I don't like bro splits either. A bro split means that you train 5 days a week and have an arm day, literally an arm day in there. Okay. I'm still doing movement pattern splits technically. They're really, really push pull legs, even though they're squat, bench, deadlift, 3 days a week. Hey, Jason, just out of curiosity, are there any more good intermediate templates, program besides conjugate 531 cube? Arno, I'm sure there are. But here's the question. If you're not going to hire a coach for custom programming, you're going to have to use a template. Because I'm going to be honest, most guys simply do not have the knowledge to write their own programs. They really don't, not to be very successful. I mean, a lot of guys get lucky or they learn stuff through trial and error, but I mean, you're going to add an extra 5-10 years to your time getting to where you want to be doing it that way. And the reason I say those templates are good is because they're proven. It doesn't mean other templates aren't good. These are consistently proven to work as far as cookie cutter templates go. And here's the point I would make. Given that you have things like that are proven to work in a pretty large number of people, they're proven to get the results, do you really need to go dig through something new that's less proven? Wait till 20,000 people run the other one you're looking at and see what their results are like. Make sure it's a good coach who wrote it too, right? Wait and see what the results are like after 20,000 people have run one of them, 30,000, 50,000, before you jump on it, because you already have these others that are proven. It's just, again, are you a gambling man? What are your odds? So muscle growth lasts way more than 48 hours, and protein synthesis window is a big of a factor. Allie, we don't actually know. Okay, I need to make that clear. We don't know. How's that for an answer? You're sticking back to the idea, and that's the problem we had with that old data, that the muscle protein synthesis time is important. Do you see the issue there? It may not be. So we don't know if it lasts longer or if it's just simply not relevant. All we know is that the frequency doesn't matter when volume is matched. Jason, are there any benefits to bulking and cutting? Yeah, you'll make 10 times the progress of doing something besides bulking and cutting. That's the main benefit. What is the minimum sets per muscle per session for the session to be optimally stimulative, excluding novice? Ralphie, I don't think there's a straightforward answer to that. Optimally, I don't know, 5 sets, 10 sets. It's somewhere in that range for minimum to be close to the optimal range. But keeping in mind, here's where people mess up with a lot of their set counting. They, for some reason, don't know how to count multi-joint exercises in there. They don't seem to realize that those movements all work multiple muscles towards your set count. And that changes stuff dramatically. Like if you looked at my training session today, how many sets did I do for delts? How are you going to calculate that? We know the flat bench and the incline bench work the delts, but it's mostly front delt, so on and so forth. But how much splash over do we get to the others? So again, your set count may be a lot higher than you think it is for a muscle, unless you're just doing the bare minimum. Why is it that in videos on how to bring up your bench press, good coaches like Matt Winning and Louis Simmons spend 90% of their time talking about bring up the triceps instead of pecs or delts? Why do you think that is, Ali? Louis Simmons trains equipped powerlifters, or did, right? Obviously, triceps are the most important. But here's the other thing. Triceps also have a much higher volume threshold than pecs do. So even if you were just trying to balance things, you probably are going to do more total sets for your triceps than your pecs if you're trying to maximize hypertrophy in both, aren't you? I mean, so we can make that case for the raw lifter. In other words, it's not necessary for us to try to do single joint movements for something like the pecs, but certain parts of the tricep are going to require extensions to maximally develop, at least hypothetically. Coach, when setting up the conventional deadlift, how far away should the bar be from your ankle? 2 inches? No, that's way too. Dude, what? You're going to fishing pole that shit. You're already talking about not resetting. Now you want to bend over and fishing pole? Come on, bro. Or not reset. I mean, not pulling the slack out. It needs to be like within an inch. Within an inch. Paul Riley, one former client. Hey, Jason, I have a conjugate question. If there is no benefit to going beyond 90% on max, is there any benefits to trying for 100% max on max every day, or should you use 90%? Yeah, 90 to 92%, 95%, somewhere in that range, Paul. Nope. Hey, Jason, did you see the 502.5 kilogram deadlift from the floor with straps that happened today? Can't spell his name, unfortunately, but that's crazy strong. I'm not going to deny that the guy is crazy strong, right? I can't deny that that's crazy strong. What's this crap down here? Oh, it's bullshit trolls. Making up nonsense like you guys always do, that completely fabricated. All right. Here's the issue though. That lift isn't a valid lift in any strength sport. Doesn't mean it's not insanely strong. But I don't know why people highlight stuff that is not any type of sanctioned lift compared to other people. If you're going to compare your strength to someone else, you have to do the same lift. Everyone is stronger with straps, but straps and sumo aren't allowed together in any strength sport. Do you see the issue there? Again, not saying the guy's not insanely strong and easily would probably within the top 1,000th of a percentile of lifters, but we can't compare it to any type of sanctioned lift because it's not an apples to apples comparison. I know you said in the past you hate fish, but I know you could dude, I don't like hypotheticals. Fish is disgusting. I would hypothetically vomit all over you if you put a piece of cooked fish in front of me. How's that? Coach, any deadlift with straps is a joke. Some of these clowns using straps couldn't even deadlift 350. Variable. No one cares what your double overhand is either. You don't get bonus points for double overhand. In fact, all that is, double overhand is nothing but a test of grip strength, not deadlift strength. Because nobody should be, you would have to be insanely weak for your double overhand deadlift to be hard for you as far as your back and your glutes and your hamstrings. Like you'd have to have like zero development there for it to be hard. I mean, I've double overhanded like 425, but I mean, 425 is a joke to me. So that's a test of grip strength. Like no one cares about that either. Darn, YouTube needs to fix its notifications. Yeah, I still don't know how they work. Hello, Lacey. If this is the real Lacey, we had some fakes before. Does your anecdotal experience as a coach also back up the research that quads and triceps can handle more volume than other muscles? If so, are there? No, Ali, those are probably the ones that can handle the most. But here's the debate we could have. Doesn't mean that they necessarily benefit always from more, but they can handle more. I mean, it's subject to a lot of debate. I do find that triceps for most lifters need extra work. Quads, not necessarily, because even though quads can handle more volume, think about how much quad volume we get between squatting, deadlifting, sled drags. Most people, again, if they're only looking at their squats, they're not counting all their quad work. Conventional deadlifts work quads. They grow quads. They will hypertrophy them. Sled drags will hypertrophy your quads. Jason, I've been doing all my deadlifts conventionally, like you recommended in my sumo, which is better shot up. Yeah, King, that's usually how it works. Whichever one you're better at, just structurally, sometimes it goes up when you train the other one to get better. Oh, the guy asking about fish want to know about his omega-3s. Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to look at the omega-3 content of the fish you're eating. Like, there's not that much in most fish. It's specific fish. Hey, coach, would you agree that you need more volume for triceps, biceps? Are you asking me personally, or are you saying as a general question? No, biceps actually don't seem to have as high of a volume threshold, believe it or not. You guys have seen me do large amounts of volume for my biceps, and you didn't see them get massive. There's a genetic component too. What is a sensible amount of accessory back work if you're doing high volume deadlifts? Well, what you're going to need to do is avoid any back work that works your low back. Don't do any type of standing rows. I would say a sensible amount is at least 10 quality sets for your upper and middle back a week. Hey, Jason, what would you say is ideal body fat for optimal health? For men, probably somewhere in maybe the 10 to 15% range. You could still be very healthy outside of that range, but you ask what's optimal. That's probably optimal. But could a lot of men be extremely healthy at 19 or 20%? Yeah, it's still possible. Your client Saif in the vlog had such impressive form. Yeah, Saif's got good movement patterns and body awareness in general. Should I stop drinking Coke Zero if I want to stop consuming caffeine? I've noticed my sleep is much better. Well, Marco, that's a question you should need to ask. Okay, I want you to think through the question you just asked me. You want to stop consuming something, so should you stop drinking something that has the thing in it that you want to stop consuming? You already have your answer. Jason, at what age do you stop growing taller? It's the same for everyone. It seems to be around 21 for men, 18 for women on average. Hey, coach, how often do you recommend stretching during the week? I don't. Do you structure? I have no idea, Dean. I probably don't want to talk about that. That might actually get this thing flagged. Who knows? So let's stay out of current events around the world, guys. How about we not bring up controversial world events in my monetized live streams? How about that? Can we do that in the future? Coach, do bodybuilders growing simply just a result of upping the dose? Would they make 10 times more gains if they train correctly? Alex, I don't know that they necessarily would make more gains if they train better. It might be slightly more. Might be. But who knows? I mean, plenty of them train pretty bad and still get massive. So there's a point where you just have to say, hey, genetic response to drugs and using excessive amounts of them will produce results. Might produce maximum results even with, piss poor training. Coach, what is your recommendation for your taller clients that struggle to hit depth in the squat? I know a wider stance. No. Don't wear squat shoes for a wide stance. Variable, you're asking a lot of questions that tell me you don't really listen to my channel. Should you pull the slack out of the bar? You watch my channel, you already know that. You also already know that squat shoes are only for narrow stance. Come on now. No, you have to adjust. To reach depth, you're going to have to find a toe position and stance width that helps you get there. For a lot of the taller lifters, again, it's particularly due to their levers, they're probably going to have to go reasonably wide with the toes out. But I also do that to get depth with shorter femurs. How to deal with large strength imbalances doing only chin-ups for years when rebuilding general strength? Well, Kevin, get on a balanced program. I'm considering a rogue sandbag for GPP. Would you recommend the 80 or 150 in terms of weight for GPP? I'm short and weigh one. You get the 80 in that case. Do any of your clients train more than 3 times a week? Personally, I find no. I have some who train 4. No one does more than 4. Well, I don't want to talk about Boston Lloyd. We're not going to discuss those sort of things. Kristen, don't spend that much money on a rogue sandbag. Get a $15 Kevlar laundry bag from Amazon. It's probably not a bad idea. Jason, what would you suggest to consume to grow optimally for a growing boy? I don't have specific recommendations there. A balanced diet with lots of protein that meets all of your macro and micronutrients, comprised of mostly whole foods. See how much flexibility I gave you there? Coach, I recently got a mohawk. I feel like it has increased my performance. Okay, then. Like to support the channel looking for 531 perspective. Would you prescribe advanced lifters on conjugate 5x10? 50% of ME variation is done today. Maybe, but conjugate's not really designed to do a lot of your classic lifts. Again, we don't need to mix and match systems. If you're going to run a template, buy into it. Okay, because here's the problem, Stefan. If you don't buy into what you're doing, you're not going to be successful at it. And it doesn't matter that something's a good idea. Either you're buying into a system or you aren't. And it's a mindset thing. All right, guys, can we get a few more likes? There's twice as many of you watching as there are likes. Hit that like button. Come on. Hey, coach, started doing walks with weighted vests for daily GPP. I feel a good resistance of 20 pounds so far, but wanted to ask, should I add weight once it feels like there's nothing on me? Yeah, absolutely. I do 42 pounds. How do you recommend warming up for a top set, for example, top set of 3 with 200 kilos? Enrique, you're not going to like my answer. Like, how do I warm up for a beat deadlift? How do I warm up for the deadlifts you see on camera? Sorry, guys, I've just finished eating. I'm going to burp through these. It just is what it is. I walk over and I pull 315 for 1 rep. That's my first warm up. Then I go to 405 for 1 rep. Then like 495 or whatever for a rep. And then I pull my heavy. That's how I warm up. And I know a lot of people are probably freaking out. That's how I warm up, guys. The only thing I start with the empty bar on is the bench press. Like even for squats. So how do I warm up? Say for that 525 squat I did the other day. I did my first rep because I got a 55-pound bar. So I've got to do the math. 235 for 1 rep. Then 335 for 1 rep. Then 415 for 1 rep. Then I do 525 on the bar. And that was, my 4th or 5th rep of the day. That was my warm up. What is your opinion on vegan protein? It's less bioavailable. Do you take vitamin pills to cover any potential deficiencies? K2 and D3. Coach, Dr. Berg says eggs are the best quality protein. Are you in agreement with this? It doesn't matter because quantitatively, if we're getting quality protein sources, the higher quality in the measurement doesn't have practical benefits. But yes, eggs tend to have phenomenal, bioavailability. Good seeing your live streams again. If you have access to a glute ham raises, Doing band leg curls still beneficial given the overspeed eccentric connective tissue work? No, dude, just do the GHD. Ed, I'm not answering that one again. Which variation is easier to lift more weight with the seated overhead press? Most you should be able to lift more standing. I think. I don't remember. I'm not a big fan of the seated ones. Jason, do you think 9 weekly sets of triceps single joint work is enough for weak point training? Maybe, but I don't like single joint stuff for triceps. I like to at least make it multi joint if possible, unless it's just press downs. Considering starting YouTube on the side to make some small amounts of passive income invested into divided stocks. Thanks for Dean. Honestly, you're not going to make much starting a new YouTube channel now. All right, I have 90 million views. Okay, my channel gets around 350, 400,000 views per month these days, and I make all long format videos as a tiered partner, so I get better ads. My YouTube doesn't make that much. Like it's why I don't rely on it. It goes into savings. So you might put a lot of work into YouTube to make $50 in a year. I'm not saying that's what mine makes, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to live on my YouTube income because I choose to do this style of YouTube now and not drama. I couldn't live the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to living off of my YouTube income. My coaching is way, way more money. It makes more money than the YouTube did, even when I did the drama stuff. Like, not just a couple thousand more either. YouTube is great for growing other businesses, but it really is just side income, unless you're getting 1 million views a month or something crazy. But even then, I mean, if you're only getting a few thousand views a month, you're not really going to make money. Can dynamic effort like speed bench be used? No, quit mixing and matching. I've said that many times in these, Marco. Tons of times. No, don't do that. There's no need. Hey, Jason, when I do close grip bench, have to do very low percentages of 1 rep max. Is this normal for bench due to the pause at the bottom? All my reps are always 1 second pause. I struggle with 3 by 10, 65%. No, that's pretty normal unless you're a noob. I mean, 3 by 10 at 65%, especially if you've done heavy work first, is actually extremely difficult. Absolutely. Doing full-blown conjugate with great results so far, messing with different percentages for 10 rep sets. So far, 3 by 10 at 7 was norm, currently a little lower percentage and more sets. Notice better recovery. Stefan, and that's the problem with it. You don't recover from the 10s at 70% for the back off work. They just destroy you. They beat you up. Does closed grip bench press count as a half set or full set for triceps and chest? I don't know. I'd count it as a set for both, probably. Ed, no, I just don't want to rehash that stuff again. Like I don't like answering the same question twice in the same live stream. You can go back and watch it. It was one of the first questions asked. And if you watch, Ed, 5 more people will pop in before it's over, probably asking the same question. Like they think that, oh man, no one has mentioned it in the live stream yet, and there's 30 minutes into the live stream. There's no way something that big didn't already get asked. It's just not possible, right? It's a big current event, so it was one of the first 5 questions asked. And if you look at the timer, we're 28 minutes deep. Hey, coach, for bench day, I'm doing bench boring but big weighted dips 5 by 10 and dumbbell flies. That's way too much. Drop the flies. No, don't replace them. Get rid of them. Hello, coach. I got an injury in my right hand with 5 stitches inside of the palm, and the left hand need 2 weeks of should I eat in a surplus to keep strength and muscle? Are you going to do leg work? Okay, you got stitches in your hand. You can do leg work. Okay, got it, coach. I'll continue to research other forms of passive income, maybe dividend stocks. Maybe the YouTube market is just too saturated now. But thanks for, it's too saturated, dude. I mean, you'd have good side income if your channel was my size and you were making 3 videos a day, right? I mean, a couple grand a month. But look at the amount of traffic I need to generate, say 25, 26,000 a year off this YouTube channel. Because that's what it makes, honestly. That's all it makes. If you think about the work put into that, I mean, if you haven't already built a channel that size, it's not worth it for that type of money. It really isn't. I can only train 3 days a week, 5-3-1. Do you recommend a 4-day split over multiple weeks? Or you could just do a squat bench, yeah, or 3 days squat bench deadlift. You just do 3 days squat bench deadlifts. Thoughts on fasted cardio? We don't need my thoughts. This has been heavily studied. It burns less fat than fed cardio. If you have access to a glute ham raise, is a hyperextension a good substitute? If you don't have access, well, no, they're different exercises. It's like they have a different focus. It's not bad, but I mean, really, if you don't have access to a glute ham raise, I would be looking at good mornings or Romanian deadlifts, right? Go bigger, not smaller. Upper, lower rest, push, pull, legs rest. That's just so convoluted. How do I know if it's too much volume? I think it's too much frequency. I don't think you need to train that many days a week or lifting. You do cardio or conditioning on your other days. I think that's too many days. I have no idea if it's too much volume. You didn't give me any volume question. Is 6 sets for a muscle per week enough to see close to optimal growth? Again, you guys are asking optimal or good. You could see very good growth on 6 sets per week. Is it optimal? Well, is your lifestyle structured around optimal? So why are you chasing optimal? Like, is your sleep perfect? Is your nutrition perfect? Do you manage your stress well? Have you cut all the stress out of your life? Those are more important than seeking the optimal volume. Those will give you more muscle growth. All that stuff will. So, but 6 is good. I'd still say closer to 10 to 12 for most people is going to be closer to optimal. But, we could debate how much difference that 10 and 12 versus the 6 is. It's not going to be double the growth. We might be talking about 5% difference, 10%, maybe. In terms of recovery, can bench be used for higher percentage on the tens and on squat and dead since the bench is easier to recover from? Other than your joints, Marco. Keep in mind, you're also comparing systemic recovery with localized recovery as well. Your recent dumbbell press video with good form was important. A few months ago, I decided to ditch the ego and went all the way from hundreds to 70s with a deep stretch, easiest exercise, the ego lift. It is, dude, people ego lift on it bad. But the thing is with a lot of these questions, and I think some of the people like Jason, yourself, such just a passe answer to these questions. And it's because I'm used to adjusting these things 7 days a week with clients. As of now, I have 31 clients. So in the case of that, when it comes to a lot of the things that you guys do ask, I'm like, these things are going to depend upon a dozen different factors. So a lot of these are variables that I'm adjusting in my full-time job every day. And, if you're looking sometimes for too general of advice on very nuanced topics, I'm going to give you, it's probably close. This might be different. It might not matter that much. It might matter a lot because, again, you guys are looking for specific targeted answers instead of stuff in a general. And you're not going to be able to get those targeted answers unless I know everything about your life. How well do you manage your stress? Have you been fighting with your girlfriend this week? Are you upset over something that happened at work? Okay, this is the stuff that my clients have to tell me, and I have to adjust programming based upon, stressors in their lives. Right. JV, one of my clients down there, he knows. Actually, Paul, who was in here, knows. Again, we had to adjust his stuff with work stress all the time. All right. How many sets of dead hangs did you do to rehab your shoulders? Like 1 to 2 a day. I'm glad to see variety in the client blog and enjoy seeing some novice clients. Yep, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some variety there because I always have a number of clients who want to do them. I've got a couple who want to do them, and I'm not ready to work them into the rotation. Eventually we will. Uh, when I overhead press, my late keep the bar is a couple inches above my collarbone. Is it better to pull the bar down and touch my collarbone before pressing, or from a dead? No, dude, you don't stretch down into it. You stop where your range of motion is. People with longer forearms can't always touch their collarbone. I can't very easily without rotating my shoulder, which is not good. Do you run into issues with your BJJ athletes or MMA guys with injuries sustained training their respective martial arts? How do you work around this? You work around it like every other injury. Yes, obviously, we're going to get injuries from their sport. My clients get injuries from falling off of a bike. I actually almost have a rule that says any of my clients who ever get on a skateboard or a dirt bike, that maybe they shouldn't apply for my clients. Like, I don't know. I lose more clients to shit like that because they get hurt too bad to keep training because they fell off of a skateboard. And I'm like, you're 23 years old. What in the fuck are you doing on a skateboard? What's wrong with you? You're not 16. I lost a client due to a dirt bike because he doesn't do it all the time. He broke his hand. He was out for 6 months. What are some general stress reduction strategies you find in optimal performers? I don't know that I have general ones. Learning to let stuff go that doesn't matter. Cutting toxic and negative people out of their life. Like, those are big ones. Coach, if I were to bulk past 20%, would I still build a decent amount of muscle? I'm 5'6", 157 pounds, or whatever, looking to bulk to 172 to my novice numbers. Well, yeah, obviously you'd make gains. You've never seen any fat, strong, massive guys, Alex? Come on. Obviously you'd make gains. Just you're going to have to be where you are going to have to trim that fat off later. You'll make gains. I mean, Eddie Hall, did he make gains getting as fat as he did? Or did he just not gain any muscle? Come on. I mean, he was clearly well over 20% body fat when he deadlifted 500 kilos. Do you think he didn't gain any muscle with that body fat? Do you work with any advanced lifters that make gains off of 1 to 3 sets? I wouldn't know because I'd never do that. Best exercise for conventional deadlift lockout weakness? I don't know. What does your technique look like at your lockout? Describe your back position when the lockout fails in detail, since I'm not looking at a side shot video. I don't even know what muscles your weak link if you say just lockout. We've got to know what's going on with the deadlift. And I've made videos answering all the different ones of that already. They are there. But I don't want to do a 10-minute answer to your question. Be very specific. Hey, Jason, if you put a beginner on a 531, do you just have them do a training max to calculate? Nope. I estimate, and we have runway. Sup, Jay? For more advanced sumo pullers, 501 plus, do you ever use conventional pulls for accessory work? I've been kicking this back and forth. Yeah. Do you get tendonitis doing bar hangs for spinal decompression? Only if I do them weighted. Have you ever thought about writing a book on strength training? Yes. That comes up a lot in these. Coach, thank you so much for all the inspiration the last few years. You motivated me to ramp up my personal training business. And I've now recently paid off my house, and I'm technically a millionaire. Well, hey, great. I stopped skateboarding 2 years ago. I can confirm it's definitely fun. Well, for kids, Jordan, but not for grown men. Hey, Jason, I think you're not a fan of trap bars. Yeah, that's an understatement. But do you think it's a good idea to use them for pen lay? What? No. If you're deadlifting with a lot of volume, you shouldn't be doing standing rows of any type anyways. Would you ever program a quad dominant lower day and a hamstring glute dominant? Well, sometimes, Andrew, yes, I have. Watch some of my client blogs. Is there any good reason to be natty? Yeah, you choose to be natty. Kind of cool to hear that guys don't stop growing until 21 as long as we don't wreck our health. Yep, pretty much. Morning, afternoon, coach. It's technically morning for me for another 19 minutes. But good morning to you also. Are you familiar with the Hepburn method? I remember the name. I don't remember the details. I'll elaborate. Do you have any lifters that grow off of 1 to 3 sets per muscle per week? Ian, I will elaborate the answer. I don't know because I would never program that load. So if I'm unwilling to try something, how would I know that a few people, like 10% of my clients, actually grow from it, and the other 90% don't, unless I've tried it? And I already said I don't program that way. So there's your answer, because it's very unlikely to be successful. Thoughts on fat grips as substitute for the axle bar? Somewhat. Axle bars are cheap though, dude. They're the cheapest specialty bar you will find. They're cheaper than your straight bar. I found great stress reduction using cognitive behavioral therapy to help let things go and get past problematic thinking. Thanks for your insight on stress reduction and how it impacts training. Yeah, it impacts it a lot. What's your take on purchasing out? Now, Paul, I think you're a troll at this point. I'm going to give you one more chance. One more thing that makes me suspect you're a troll and you're gone. Do you consume melatonin every night before bed? Yes, and you already know that I do. I've said it in videos. Appreciate you got to get back to work. Take care, brother. What's your current opinion on the 20 rep squat program? The same opinion I've had on it for years, and including in previous live streams. It works, but modern methods that renews normal sets across are probably better overall for recovery wise and stuff. Favorite Western film? Sorry for the one off topic question. I'm just curious. I'm going to go with Hang 'em High. I'm going to let you go ahead and make that post, and I'm going to keep your money again. I tell you what, as long as you guys pay me and you're putting money, because all my YouTube money goes into savings towards buying a house, as long as you guys keep paying for my house, you can say whatever you want. But the second you make a troll post that's not paid, I'll ban you. So you can keep donating $5, another $5 towards me buying a house. Go ahead. I'm going to keep your money, though, because if I ban you, I don't get to keep your money. Go ahead. Fill my bank account, baby. Make about 1,000 more of those. Fill it up. Doug, almost done with my cut, as you know, is one of my clients. Is there any benefits, drawbacks to be bulking cutting in the 10 to 15% range versus 10 to 20%? Not really. There's no downsides to staying at 10 to 15. Are there any side effects to melatonin? Yes, the vivid dreams. Yeah, the vivid dreams. I've discussed that in detail in previous live streams, and other people laughed. So let me explain the side effects of melatonin, particularly at any high dose. Every night when you go to sleep, it's going to be stuff like fighting cyborg zombies with laser axe hands, right? And then bullets that shoot out of your eyeballs, and sometimes have lasers that go with the bullets. And then you wake up usually while you're fighting a zombie shark wrestling it, falling off of a cliff. And you'll wake up at that point because you fell off of a cliff. That's going to be every night on melatonin. And I'm not exaggerating. People who've taken 5 or 10 milligrams are going to chime in and be like, he's not joking. He's not exaggerating. These trolls are so dumb. They're paying you money to say words, and it's so smart you're not banning them. Yeah, dude, I'm going to keep all the money from now on. All right. Wow, what a weirdo. Okay. You guys and your weird fetishes, man. Y'all got to go. Yep, Samuel. I can vouch for the vivid dreams all on melatonin. Exactly. Coach Village. Vivid dreams actually sound like a positive thing, to be honest. Yeah, variable, except that they're intense. Just keep that in mind. You're not going to have chill dreams, and you're not going to have crazy, great, amazing sexcapades in your dreams or anything like that. Okay, it's going to always be high stress stuff like that. They're going to be intense. Alan Thrall said the 20 rep squat program is the hardest program he's ever done, but one of the benefits from it is everything else after. It feels like a joke. Yeah, Marco, I did 20 rep squat programs in my first year in the gym. They are hard. Coach, I've been on 531 and never deloaded. I have had to stop my 3+ week to deload because I was feeling fatigued when I returned. Should I start over again? Start back with a 5+, yeah. Question about melatonin use. If I'm taking melatonin to get better quality sleep, but my vivid dreams excite me to the point where I wake up in the middle of the night, isn't that? No. I mean, because you'll get more sleep. You'll still get the sleep. Best deadlift variation is boring but big, 5x10 to avoid too much fatigue. Conventional deadlift. Favorite accessory exercise to improve the breast? Tricep work usually. I think you recommend 531 for intermediate advanced lifters. Does that mean someone can run it 20+ years? Maybe, but I think at a certain point you're going to want to customize programming. You're going to want to customize it. All right, guys. I've been drinking a lot of water and eating a lot today. I have to go to the restroom, so I'm going to go ahead and wind this down at 46 minutes. I love you guys. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you next time.